I have not gone through all of the changes in the previous update, so I probably should go through them now. For some reason, my skin, the WIKI Engineer skin, it keeps appearing in the daily store for some reason, even though it should be appearing like once every blue moon. But yeah, fair enough. If you want to get it now, I guess. Anyways, the first thing is that the snowball emote, it no longer flings players around. I believe this is when, if you threw it, it used to fling players back, but now it no longer does that. So I guess it just doesn't do that. Even if it's big enough to do that, it doesn't do that anymore. So we'll just make it big and then throw it. And as you can see, yeah, it doesn't do that. I don't know what happens if it collides with another player. I don't think it does anything, but yeah, it doesn't do that. Then we got another change. It's that in Sandbox mode, you can actually change back to the dev map now. The dev map being this map here, this original map where everyone spawns into Sandbox mode. This mode is actually made by Out of Bears, and it's the same map that, same path structure, sorry, that Grass Map Isles uses. Anyways, next we talk about the pizza party changes, because surprisingly, I actually haven't talked about this yet. Right, so first, the quick. The quick now gives variable cash, so it gives 8 in Molten mode, 8 in Fallen mode, 10 in Pizza Party, and 5 in Sandbox. Meanwhile, the Scout, its cash has increased from 400 to 500 on its death, whereas the Breaker 2, that is increased from 25 to 100 in Pizza Party, where it's 25 everywhere else apart from Sandbox mode, where it's 5. Meanwhile, the Citizen plush, that's cash given on death has increased from 300 to 400. Meanwhile, the Shotgunner, its health has decreased from 2.5k to 2.25k. I believe that's on base health. It's probably changed if you have more than one person in your server. And its cash has increased from 1,000 to 1.5k. Every 50% health dealt to it. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't change its health depending on the amount of people in your server. Next, the Marionette. Its cash has given on death is increased from 250 to 325. Additionally, it has its stun immunity removed, so the Electroshocker is more effective towards this, and the Warden is also more effective towards this. It can now also be pushed back by the DJ booth. Meanwhile, the Clown, its cash that it gives on death has increased from 1.2k to 1.5k. Meanwhile, the Knight, its cash on death has increased from 450 to 700. Meanwhile, the Monkey, its cash on death has increased from 800 to 1,000. And you can't actually spawn in the Colbert Guard into Sandbox mode for some reason. But its cash every 25% health has increased from 1,000 to 1.5k every 25% health damage to it. For the Sock Puppet, its cash given has changed from 1.6k every 180,000% health, and no, that's not a typo, and that's not me misspeaking. It is 180%, 180,000% health, aka no cash when you kill it, to 900 every 50% health. So basically, yeah, a fix basically. Additionally, its stun and freeze immunity has now been removed, so because it's a fast enemy, you can now freeze it, and you can electroshock it, / warden it, / DJ booth it, / throw anything at it, and it will slow it down, which is good because it's a fast enemy. Yeah, so it's not as effective as it was before, but it's still quite a menacing enemy if you don't have the right towers to deal with it. Next, we got the Balloon Kid, which you still can't select, but its stun immunity has been removed, even though you can't really select it to confirm that. And its cash given on health has increased from 1.25k to 1.5k. Meanwhile, the Minigunner, its speed has decreased from 2.5 to 2.25, and its cash has increased from 3k to 4k every 10% health dealt to it. As for the Mimicumbria, its cash given every 25% health has increased from 4k to 6.25k. As for the Voodoo Doll, its cash given has changed from 1,625 to 2k every 25% health, and its stun immunity has been removed. Meanwhile, for the Executioner plush, its health has changed around a bit. So Its health has changed from 45k to 20k, but its shield health has increased from 55k to 65k. So it's a change from like 90k to 85k. So that's like a 5k decrease overall. Its speed, however, has changed from 2.25 to 1.75. Its cash given has changed from 900 to 1000 every 1% health, but that's 1% of its 20k health, normal health. However, its stun immunity has been removed, so you can slow it down with the electroshocker and you can also DJ-boof it. The Reaper next, its defense has been removed. Additionally, cash given has increased from 2.5k every 25% health to 4k every 10% health. And finally, Wox the Fox, its cash given has changed from 1.5k to 7.5k every 1% health, and its speed has decreased from 1 to 0.9. So you'll notice that when they say increase in enemy kill eco reward across almost all enemies, when they say almost all enemies, it's not really almost all enemies. I'll say it's about slightly over half all enemies. So like abnormal, those things, they haven't changed too much. It's just normally like the high end or the last end enemies that they've changed. They've also changed the win reward from 1,125 coins to 1,250 coins. I don't know how they've done that. I think it's through like modifiers or something, but fair enough. It's that difficult, I guess, because the 1,125, I think that was like slightly lower than Polluted Wastelands and Badlands 2 as it was before. But now it's like on par with those, I think, which is absolutely fair enough. It's like as difficult as those are now. And then the final change is that they've increased the final wave bonus from 50k to 75k in solos. I think it's just solos or not. Apparently on wave 39 and 40, the wave bonus is just 75,000 for all people. Huh, okay. Well, with the total reduction applied to it. So, for example, in Duo, it'll be a 10% reduction. In Trio, it's a 15% reduction. In Quad, it's a 40% reduction. And that's how they changed it. Okay, I see. So, the coins base rewards have been boosted from 600 to 634. And the Triumph bonus has increased from 150 to 200. So, that's how they changed it. Okay, I see. A few shadow changes, confirmed by Mentin, is that the Rocketeer now makes fireworks now. Previously, actually, the Rocketeer didn't make any fireworks. From the firework technician, it now does, and at max level, each missile that the Rocketeer fires can have a chance of creating its own fireworks. And because of the Rocketeer's slow fire rate, the missiles actually have a slightly higher % chance of firing rockets. Obviously, because it's based on the amount of enemies it hits, the Rocketeer has a high % chance of shooting out a rocket. But you never know, obviously. It may randomly not fire out a rocket. You'll just have to wait and see. But because it can hit a lot of enemies, you're more likely than not going to hit an enemy with a rocket, an additional rocket on top of the missile that it can already fire. Additionally, the Masquerade Medic now has a face, which is really interesting because this face is actually custom made for the Masquerade Medic. Previously, apparently, it was a default medic face, though, previously. The Masquerade Medic did actually have a face before in the icon back in Halloween, but for some reason it was glitched and it actually never appeared. But now it actually has a face now, so that's pretty cool. Finally, kicking players actually now kicks players from Sandbox mode if you have the admin mode admin mode Game Pass, and blacklisting players now actually blacklists them and leaves a message in the chat. Additionally, giving admin to other players now gives them most of the benefits, though the majority of players the majority of enemies still do not get unlocked if you give them admin mode. And that is it. So, update going to be soon for some of the future content in the game, but yes, very cool indeed.